Hey, what's up, Reefers? Today I want to talk about coral warfare in my tank. This is a challenge for me because I have a small tank and I really like the look of a packed tank. So ideally my tank should display minimum rock work, but for the most part I only see corals. I don't see as much rock because they're covered by coral. But with that concept, it comes with the issue because not all corals are compatible with each other. And just because I want to be difficult to myself and to the inhabitants, the corals I like do not tend to play nicely with each other. And today I want to highlight a couple troubled spots that I'm trying to correct. So first up, in my previous video, I talked about my acan being stung by my mushroom or Rhodactis. And here it is. And as you can see, as the water flow by, you'll see the Rhodactis lift up a little bit and you'll see the skeleton of the acan. What happened is that I moved the acan there and things have been fine for a little bit until the Rhodactis grew and it started covering the acan. So I thought, okay, I'll sacrifice a couple polyps of the acan and that skeleton area will be the buffer zone. But it looks like the Rhodactis, after having not grown much at all, started to really grow large. And as a result, it started stinging more and more of the acan. So now I have to move the acan in order to make room for the Rhodactis. So the next problem area I have is actually the gold torch and the space invader. As you can see here, the gold torch is kind of sending out sweeper tentacle. Those are stringy ones, a little bit longer than a regular tentacle. And the idea is that the gold torch senses other coral in its vicinity and is trying to make room for itself to grow. So sending out sweeper, hoping to touch the other corals and damage it to the point where it recede or die in order to gain more room for itself. So eventually I will need to address the spacing. Most likely I will move the space invader because the space invader is, well, invading the green star polyp space. So it's probably safest to remove the space invader. So the last area of my immediate concern is the huge, well, not huge, but huge for my tank, rose purple anemone, as well as the frog spawn. And these are the centerpiece of my 45-gallon tank. I'm happy that the rose purple anemone picks such a prominent spot to plant itself, but at the same time I'm a little bit worried because it's so close to the frog spawn. And so far they seems to be playing nicely with each other. From time to time they touch and nothing really comes to it, but I will keep watch. I think in the worst case scenario, assuming the anemone does not move, I may lose some of the frog spawn heads underneath, which is fine because it's shaded as well. So eventually they'll probably recede. But if they go into battle, the rose purple anemone and the frog spawn is probably not going to be pretty. And I believe that the rose purple anemone is probably going to come out on top, meaning that it's probably going to beat back the frog spawn, but they are not going to be happy. So I cannot really do anything about these right now because I have a limited space in my tank, and pretty much that's the only place I can leave the frog spawn. And the anemone, I can't really move him around. He goes wherever he wants. So it is kind of set. So these three are the three areas that I'm a little bit concerned about. The acan lord, which I will be moving the acan. The gold torch and space invader, I'll most likely be moving the space invader once I find a more suitable location. And then the frog spawn and the bubble-tip anemone, which I cannot really do anything about, at least at the moment. So yeah, that's one of my longer-term challenge in a small tank with a pack full of corals. Space is an issue, and coral compatibility. And there is one reason why I do not have a lot of soft coral, especially leather, in my tank at the moment, because soft coral, sometimes they use chemical warfare. Other corals like LPS, they may use chemical as well, but it's not as prominent as soft coral. especially letter corals. And I read that a lot of people have issue with their tank without knowing why. But ultimately, they find out that it's because they may have like a huge soft coral colony, and they're trying to make space for themselves, and they'll release some type of chemical or slime that would disturb other corals and causes stunt growth or even receding or death. So because of that, I have a tendency to avoid larger soft coral just so that in case they do have chemical warfare, because my water volume is not that large and I don't really run really super efficient skimming or like carbon, so I don't think I can really address chemical warfare too well, so I kind of shy away from large letter coral colonies. All right, well, just want to share my, how would you call this, coral warfare or coral aggression with you guys. And I do have a little surprise for everybody a little bit later this week, so you hear from me again sometime this week. Until then, take care, and I'll talk to you guys next time.